Greetings, everybody. We've got a bit of a split screen thing going on here. It's split because I'm in my dressing gown because it's nearly midnight. What time's it over there, Dane?
About 10 o'clock in the morning.
About 10 o'clock. So, as you can hear, I've got an English accent. And Dane, where are you from, Dane?
Australia, of course. As you can.
Australia.
Australia, mate.
My good friend Dane, who's also on this quest of crazy numbers in the universe, decoding the code behind the code. He can literally see the numbers from the Matrix coming down in front of his eyes right now.
It's getting about
Just
that.
wipe them a bit. It's just probably a bit of dust or something. So today I'm here with my very good friend Dane Quirk to talk about some amazing things that he's discovered. I can't really tell you much more than that, other than he's been looking at ancient structures, finding the flipping code of space and time, and he's been writing it down on his lovely whiteboard there. So a few nights ago, Dane showed me his work, and I thought it was fantastic. And I said, we need to get him on a podcast as soon as possible. So here we are. So do you want to introduce yourself, Dane, and then we'll crack on?
Yep. So yeah, I've had a channel about 6 or 7 months now, maybe a little bit longer. But I did some videos and then I haven't done any for a while. And I've just been researching, just doing what we love doing, just looking into things. And then I found all this stuff you're going to see today. In the last sort of 6 months, I found one piece 6 months ago that was gigantic. And then 2 weeks ago, found another piece that fits hand in glove to the other bit. And I thought, right now we're ready. Like we're seriously ready to release it to the world, really, because it is for the world. It is for the world.
It is.
Yeah.
It's for free as well. That's the best thing. We do this for free.
Yeah,
no way of making any money from it. Yeah.
Yeah. Chop wood, carry water, mate. Chop wood, carry water.
Yeah. Yeah. So for you guys, this is going to be amazing. It might take you a while to get your head around. Dane kept me up for 7 hours the other night. He showed me about midnight, and I was up till 7 in the morning studying it all. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through it as slowly as we can, and hopefully you can get your heads around it. So take it away, Dane. Yeah, do you want to begin?
Yeah. So I've just put a few things up here. Just, I don't know why, just sort of get little inklings to do things. But anyway, no great discovery was ever made without a bold guess. That was Newton. It is the honour of kings to seek out a matter. So today what we're going to cover is basically every question we've ever wanted to know, really. And it's, we know there's 1,000 videos out there on Egypt and ancient cultures and all these sorts of things, even geometry and all that. So this covers all that. It covers everything, because as we've discovered or discussed on my channel, is that it's a fractal, micro, macro scale. Everything's, the finger and all the ratios, all the same.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about time. And time is the law. It is the law. Everyone says natural law and common law and law. The only law is this. That's the only law there ever was. That's where it began. Because laws like restrictions, aren't they? They restrict. And time's a bit of a...
These are the archetypes of Saturn, are they not? Time, restriction, limitation, space, time.
Yes.
The law. Yes.
Yeah. And so why do we always, even with, say, Trump and everyone's still loving that, want to support Israel and make sure that they're kind of the looked after. And we're sort of a bit confused by this, but I'm not anymore. They preserved the most ancient knowledge. They were captives in Babylon, and they wrote a lot of things down and they took it with them. And we have it to this day. Now, the Jesuits and Catholics, Muslims, everyone has these pieces, but just in their own little ways, but they're all talking about the same thing. So we've got even Vishnu, and we got the next one after Vishnu, apparently that's meant to come, is Kalki. Everyone has somebody that's coming. The Islam, they spell it Islam, has Mahdi. That's a D, I. Mahdi, and is it Mashiach? Is for the Jews. And of course,
Mashiach,
yeah. So everyone's got these, but they're all time. When you look up Vishnu, you say, oh, is Vishnu and Kalki related to time? That's all that they are. They're time gods. So they're basically Kronos. They're all Kronos. Kronos is the Greek one. So it's all about this. This is all what it's about. Now, we all know already with the Saturn cube, how many times have we seen these silly videos on the Saturn cube, and it's the devil and it's Satan and it's all a bit silly. Very silly.
Very silly.
I thought to myself, well, the ancients discovered something, because we all think maybe that it's the sun and the moon that keep our time. You know, we got 1440 minutes, right, 864,000 seconds in a day. We know all these things, 60, and 24 hours and all that, 52 weeks in a year, 25,920 years for the precession, moves 72 degrees. 72 years it takes for 1 degree of precession. This is Kronos, because we're talking about time. Calendars, Mayan calendars, anything to do with time, we're talking about obviously Saturn, Kronos.
And all those numbers are hyperharmonic numbers, the most divisible numbers with the most factors that we know of.
Well, what we discover is that all the ratios between each note on the guitar or piano or whatever is the same as our body, is the same as the planets. Their sizes, their distances, their orbit speeds, everything comes back to this whole 432 stuff that we see about. Everyone says that man made up numbers, they're all arbitrary. So I had to really, okay, years now I've been looking into maybe it's arbitrary. I was totally neutral on everything. So but we find out though that when we swing a pendulum even 1 meter, right, that's 1 second. That was worked out in Egypt. They used a plumb bob, right? And we measure everything in meters per second. So it's all about this time and distance but from music to the quadrivium, right? Astronomy, music, arithmetic, and what am I forgetting? Geometry. And Plato said, don't come in if you don't know your geometry, etc. Don't even come in the door.
Mm-hmm.
So we got all those time numbers, and I was basically just thinking, right, there's something about Saturn and Jupiter. We know that every Abrahamic faith is all about Saturn. We see the Saturn cube on the heads of the Jews. We see Mecca, they're walking around the cube in Mecca. We know it's all Saturn. We go to the Vatican, we see a lot of Saturn stuff there. And Jupiter is, the king. Saturn's also. So there's arguments between which one's the true king. Well, we probably heard about the Great Conjunction. Oh, sorry, these pens are a bit cut. The Great Conjunction. There's a cool movie. What is it called? The Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't spell real good, guys. But anyway, Great Conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. This is the biggest thing in history ever. It goes back to the Minoans, I've found out recently. It just goes right back before any pyramid builders, any megalithic builders. They knew a lot of stuff about the synodic periods and all that sort of thing with planets.
So synodic, everybody, is calculating planets and stars by conjunctions. So when it conjuncts in one place and then conjuncts in another, that's a synodic period.
Yep. And from Earth's perspective, it looks like it comes back to a sort of similar spot, almost back to the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we then discover that I'm going to give a shout out to the archivist. His channel, The Archivist. I got this 6 months ago. This is where I saw it. And he showed that in 2014, they went to Mexico, to the Quetzalcoatl Pyramid Complex. And you got, this is, all very crude, and then the big, long 1 kilometer causeway. Pyramid of the Sun, Pyramid of the Moon. And then you got these little satellite pyramids here and a little temple in here of the cougar. Anyway, I'm just giving you a bit of an idea. But in 2014, they went with all their scientific stuff and they lined up all their tripods and whatever, and they realized that this whole place was lined up to the 7 BC triple conjunction. Now, we're going to get to this, but triple conjunctions, we get a great conjunction every 20 years. We get a single conjunction, right, of Saturn and Jupiter. But
Can you explain single and triple conjunctions and the reason why they happen?
Yes. So what we'll just quickly show you is this is a pattern that goes forwards and backwards in time, so it doesn't matter how far backwards you go. This is how it works. 1941, 1961, 1981. So we had a triple in 41. We had a single in 61. We had a triple in 81. Then what we do is we wait 297 years, 97 years, till 2238. And we get a triple. Then we get 2258. We get a single. And 2278, we get another triple. And this is the pattern, right? So 40 years in the desert. This is what I think it comes from, 40 years in the desert. And it goes, so you get these triple, single, triple, 297 years. That's it, right? We go forward from there, it's the same. Backwards, it's the same.
Okay, I'll just explain to everybody why you're getting these singles and triples. What happens is when we get a conjunction, because of the orbit of the Earth, obviously this is all from our perspective. So when you get an orbit of the Earth, you'll see a conjunction between two planets. And then because of retrograding and things like that, which is basically because we're moving around the sun, and a bit like when you walk around a person, if I hold my right hand out, forget left and right, but if I hold my right hand out and you walked around the other side of me, it would look like my hand's on the opposite side of me.
Yep.
So this is why we get these doubles and triples, because we get retrograding and it happens. It looks like it happens more than once, basically. Sometimes it looks like it happens once, sometimes it happens twice, sometimes it happens 3 times.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Mercury does 22 retrograde motions over 7 years, I think it is. But yeah, there's the master builder's number 22, and the height of the pyramid, isn't it? 7 over 22 or over 11. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All these numbers are these guys were obviously knew a few things.
722 is pi. It's 711, which is the pyramids.
Yes.
But obviously those two things are related because it's 11 and 11.
Yeah, and we're gonna see like Hermes and Thoth and all these stuff. We understand like Hermes' staff and the caduceus. That's Mercury. We understand that really these gods' names that we got given like Thoth or Hermes and that is just another name for Mercury. So they lined it up. Yeah, they figured out it was lined up to 7 BC, triple conjunction. And almost within 5 minutes, I checked this next bit out that I found. And I think, when I say I found, I think, how did nobody else find it? Because you guys will see how easy it was. It was like, well, wow, look at how has nobody published on this yet? Maybe they didn't know. I don't know. But so they realised 7 BC. But what they didn't realise is, well, that's kind of the big punchline. So we're going to go to the next bit. We're going to go to a Mayan number 819. This has been a bit of an anomaly in the Mayan calendar count. There's a whole bunch of different numbers for the count system in the Mayan system, as you know, long counts, short counts. But this is one that's been a bit of a tricky one for the scholars and everybody. And so they figured out finally that Mercury is like the axiom because he fits into this one perfectly. He's got a 117 day synodic period. So he fits into this 7 times perfectly, right? They're like, okay, great, good start. But the other planets hadn't figured out what this, how it relates to all the other things. But we figure out that they had to extend the 819 to 20 times this. But what happens is we figure out Saturn is 6 times 819. Venus is 5 times 819. Mars is 20 times 819. Jupiter is 19 times 819. What am I forgetting? Mercury is 7, obviously. Right, so 819. These are all the synodic periods, and they realised that Saturn, once it does 6 rounds of this, it comes right, and this one has to do 5 rounds. And anyway, this is their thing. All I did was,
the Mayans and Aztecs were famous for making these very long calendars, so they could fit within those systems all of these orbital periods of the planets. They were quite obsessed with it and very good at it, obviously, as Dane is showing us.
And well, the scientists say to us too that they didn't know very much. They knew some things, equinoxes, solstices, a few planetary alignments, but they weren't that, they didn't know a lot. Well, we proved that completely wrong today. That's very silly now. We can realise how silly it was. Anyway, so anyway, I'll give you the answers now. So Saturn equals 4914. Venus.
So how are you generating this number, Dane? What is this number the summary of?
Yep, 6 times 819. Right, that was Saturn's synodic period, right? And Venus is 5 times 819. So these are the 0495. Mars is 16380. Mercury equals 57333. And what am I thinking? Jupiter was 15561. So all I did was, and I was just adding them up, but it was a bit of an accident because I just hadn't got to Mars. So I was just adding them up on the calculator, and I hadn't got here, so I added up the 4 of them, and I just saw the number down on my calculator. I saw that, and I went, far out, no way. That's just pretty cool, isn't it? But I hadn't added Mars yet, and Mars is 16380. And so, as we know, with a lot of researchers out there will know this, but you can put a point anywhere, you get rid of the zeros because times 0 doesn't change anything. So this is how sort of Francis Bacon, John Dee, all the great crypto, all those people that ciphered everything, and all those guys. So point there, and I added them together, and we get 1941.03. Right? Now I'm freaking out. You guys will see why. I'm freaking out at this stage. I'm losing my mind. And I'm thinking, how is this only this Reddit in Australia is the only one that knows this? What's going on? Because I know, because I love Saturn and Jupiter for reasons that we'll find out later. But Saturn and Jupiter have a triple conjunction, right, in 1941. Right? So the whole entire Quetzalcoatl pyramid is lined up to the 7 BC triple conjunction. And where it's coming, you ready? This is the funnest bit in the universe, people. And all the synodic periods, so we've just seen synodic periods also went up to 1941.3. And the triple conjunction in 1941. Well, where is the Quetzalcoatl pyramids? The entire complex. This is, they're bigger in mass than the Great Pyramids. As you know, it's the kilometre-long causeway, Pyramid of the Sun and the Moon. They're gigantic. It's the biggest project on Earth, surely. Where is it, though? What's the location of the Quetzalcoatl complex? It's on 19 degrees, 41 minutes, and 3 seconds. 3 seconds. That's the Pyramid of the Sun is on exactly this. The Pyramid of the Moon is basically on the same thing because it's across on the same sort of line. Down here at Quetzalcoatl Pyramid, the only difference is it's 55 seconds, right, instead of 3 seconds, just down here a bit. I mean, is anybody else falling out there? Because
my brain fell out of my head when you told me that. I was like, what? It's so simple. It's so simple as well. But how did you travel there? Who are you to travel there?
Yeah.
Is there some ancient complex of peoples building these things? Is it because they're using a system that's older than they are and they're all still using this system? That it just generates so many questions.
Yes. Now, I've seen a lot of people on Stephanie McPeak-Peterson's channel who I've been working really closely with. Big shout out to Stephanie. This is all because we've been working together, our minds just bouncing off each other, and then you go places. But I've seen in her comment section and other places that numbers are arbitrary and man made them up and they don't really mean anything. Well, all they did was simple counting, so, and they realised, with the stick in the ground, and they knew the sun came up there every 365 days, it's back at that same spot, you know? Simple counting, and they did that with all the planets too, all their synodic periods, etc. But the numbers that we use for music and everything, they came from above. That's why they say the above and below thing, because they counted the stuff above and then built structures using the numbers they got from above. They didn't
And
get them.
can I say to everybody out there, one of the tests to see if you're using these cosmic numbers, these cosmic harmonic numbers, is does that when you add each of those numbers together, does that then reduce to what to 9, the number 9? And
Yes.
obviously, if then you can do. Go ahead, mate. If you can do that for 1941.3.
Yeah. What do you? Which bit do you mean? 1941.3. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And the
that will
question.
add up to 18.
Gotcha. Right.
One
Gotcha.
plus, yeah,
Yeah.
and then 1 plus 8 is 9.
Yeah. And this goes on and on. It's always 9. Every planet equals 9. Yeah, and then all of them together. Then I added the sun and the moon's synodic period just for curiosity, right? And they
Yeah.
always use the number, so I didn't go 29.5 for the moon. I just did 29. And that was I didn't even try the 25 point anyway. And the reason they always using whole numbers, I'm not sure why, but anyway, it comes out to this, right? When we got the sun and the moon and all the planets, that's it. That's our local universe. All the synodic periods together is this, right? Obviously,
Wow, you
AZ,
didn't show me that.
yeah. So,
Oh, amazing.
oh yeah,
That's so funny.
yeah. So we know that the Quetzalcoatl pyramids, the whole place is on 19 degrees, 41 minutes, and whatever seconds, 3 seconds. You know, that's where it is. We know that the triple conjunction happened in 1941. We know that the Quetzalcoatl pyramid was lined up to 7 BC, triple conjunction. So there's a whole bunch, as you know, 270 years between the triples. So there's a whole bunch between 7 BC and 1941, but they don't mention them, do they? You know, they're pointing at this one. And why? Well, when I say we answer every question in the universe, I fucking mean it. Because what I was just a total neutral, curious fella. That's it. But I found out things like, oh, this fixed cross of the Aquarius and Leo and Scorpio, I think it is,
Taurus.
and Taurus, right? And I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. And the iconography is in churches, synagogues, you name it. And the most ancient ones that they still digging up at the moment, and they're finding the zodiac on the ground, you know, in huge mosaics and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is everywhere. This is like just absolutely in every single country on the planet. And they've got
It's
their
the
own.
key.
It's the
Yeah.
key. How come this all the time? So we figure out why today. We figure out why. We talk about exactly why. And so 1941 is the end, basically. It's the end. When you look at, see, at 1981, we had the triple in Libra, which is air. There's something else here, Ryan, I haven't showed you yet. You're going to love this. We know the Mithra, or the young man on top of the bull, driving the blade into the bull's shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yep, it's everywhere, that one. Slaying the
Yeah.
bull. He's a young man, yep, slaying the thing, right? Well, in 2001, we know what happened in 2001. Well, we got a single conjunction. You guys are going to notice that every time we get a conjunction, you know, towers fall down, walls start. What happened in 1941? We know what happened in 1941, but it goes even back to ziggurats. We find that there's 5 ziggurats underneath the big one, that they're all buried underneath. They just built on top. They do it here. This is when they do it. It's the renewal. They shed the skin and they go into the new. And
The new age. Yeah.
The age is all based on Saturn and Jupiter. If we go to the Vedas and the sidereals and everyone's like, it doesn't start for another 500 years, or it doesn't, or it started in the 60s, or it starts, there's 1,000 million
They
arguments.
can't quite decide. No.
When? But why haven't we ever thought to ourselves with just simple logic, if Kronos is the time fella, why aren't we just following him? Why don't we just follow what he's doing? Then we'll know exactly when everything's meant to. He's the calendar, he's the boss of time. But no one's, anyway. So yeah, we get these the ancients were doing it. So anyway, we better start listening. Because I think they knew a few things. Don't know about you guys, but I've never been to Egypt or any of these places, but I still cry when I look at them on the screen. It's impossible. Anyway, but when 2001, what happened? Well, the conjunction didn't stay in air, and it's meant to. They kind of tend to do that. What they do is, I'll show you here, zodiac. Right, I won't do them all, but when it goes, these are all air. So we got Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. Right, they're all air. So when we get the conjunctions start happening in air, they'll go from this one to this one, and this is quite literally what it does in the sky. The pole on the top of Saturn, where they say it's a hexagon thing, I think that's probably CGI. We can't see it unless we look at NASA. So maybe it's there, but I don't know. But it does do this, and it takes 20 years, 20, 20, 20, 60 years. Oh, we're getting some sexagesimal systems happening here. We've got 60 degrees as well. They figured this out. They're like, well, 60 years and 60 degrees. And then they get the oppositions. It's every 10. So after, this takes 20 years. So the 10 are the oppositions.
Can you explain an opposition?
Well, an opposition is, so, say in 1941, you'll get 1951 is the opposition. So, because, 41, 61 and 81, they're all 20 years apart. Well, if you just go 10 years to 51 and then 71, right, the oppositions happen in those years, right? It just sort of, and they mapped it, you can see it mapped out in the sky. You've got all the charts.
Is an opposition, sorry, I'm just, even for my clarification now, an opposition is when it's on the opposite side of the sun, isn't it?
Yeah, and well, the opposition to where this point here, like where it starts and goes across and does its triangle, the oppositions they're just 10 years, they're in the middle. So you've got to wait 20 years for this one here, but you go along and it'll do it in, like, I think it's Earth or whatever, another element, but it just does this. And the Magi had realised this. They're like, okay, and this is why we have the Seal of Solomon. This is the Seal of Solomon, Saturn and Jupiter conjunctions. That's what it is. It's nothing else.
Yeah.
There's no arguments anymore, people. We've got to stop arguing about this. This is what it does in the sky. Where do you think they got it from? Now, let's just use our brains here. Come on, let's calm down. Because the whole world's still flapping about stuff. And we're killing each other over it.
Well, we were recently looking at the Lesser Key of Solomon on the last podcast that I did, and I came out with all these seals. Everything on there is to do with time. And I think we kind of took a few steps towards proving it as well. Dane's taking it even further today.
Oh, yeah, we go all the way. So it happens in air, but in 2001, it actually went to Taurus, right? It sort of broke, and as we know, I said before, he's slaying the bull. He's got the knife in the bull. Well, why is that? Because in 2020, most of us probably heard about it, but the Great Conjunction happened in 2020. And it happened in Aquarius. So he slayed the bull, didn't he? Yeah, he slayed the bull. This iconography of the artwork and everything of the bull being slayed is thousands of years old. They knew that we were going to get a conjunction in 1941, a triple. They knew it was going to be in air. They knew. And they were telling us, but then it's going to go to here. It's not meant to, but they don't usually do that, but that's what it's going to do. And then it's going to go to this one too. And then we're here, baby. We've started the Age of Aquarius. It's officially on. In 1981 too, by the way, because it's the Age of Aquarius, and it's all, the internet was invented. PC computers, everything. It's all to do with Gemini. It's all communication, Mercury. But as you can see, the way that the world, the elites and whatever we call them, what are the odds of all these new inventions that we're using right now started in 81?
Well, there are two ways of looking at it, aren't there? There are some people that know about this stuff and are adhering to this ancient religion, i.e. the elites. Yes, by the way, L is a name for Saturn, Elites, the elites. And I'm both ways, or the universe somehow does this, that we aren't quite as independent as we think we are, and that the horoscopes and astrology, there might actually be something to it. I know Dane's clearly a Gemini. I'm also a Gemini, and I know I am a Gemini.
Yeah. This whole thing about these masters that return, like you said about how much choice do we really have? This is what I've,
Yeah.
had to do, sort of deal with, because it's not been easy actually to kind of go, fuck, for reasons that are going to become more obvious. I hope everybody starts to just listen to it, my attitude about stuff, because I was just curious. That was it. Kalki, Jesus, all the ones we mentioned, Marty, right? All this. Well, yeah, I thought they were all tripping, guys. I thought they were like, oh yeah, I was just like everyone else. Yeah, well, things have happened. We're going to show that probably the next episode, because it's a bit. Anyway, so we've got the triples. We know we're talking about Saturn and Jupiter. We're talking about time. Time is just, it's the law. It's every single thing. It's even the notes on the guitar and everything. Like time, the time numbers are the musical notes on the strings. That's 432. All of them time related. So what I was thinking was 1941 as a triple, and 1981. We know about Quetzalcoatl. I'm thinking, well, is there any other structures around the world that we can look at to see if, because we're missing one, right? They're really excited about this. They're telling us about this in Mexico. But are they going to tell us about this? Surely that's important, and they'd put it somewhere. Well, of course, I went to the old trusty. Went back to Egypt.
You have to. You see the Egypt or Stonehenge.
I mean, there are like El Mirador and all these huge pyramids, bigger than all the other ones, in the middle of the jungle. But these two are kind of the ones, aren't they? But anyway, I just had a look. Now I'm going to show you, because our friend Ryan here knows this man not too bad. Apparently, he's Alan Green.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Green. Hey, Alan, how are you, brother? You're a legend.
Easy, Alan.
We love you, mate. We got now. He figured out in the King's Chamber with the sarcophagus, you lay it on its side and you stuck it all up, and you got the air spaces and everything. You go and watch his videos. It's awesome. And he figured out it comes out with a golden angle, 137.5. And so that's the golden angle, right? Or constant, whatever. 137, all the physicists can't figure it out. It freaks them out. Heaps of videos on it. It's unreal. Anyway, it's in the King's Chamber. King's Chamber as well, by the way, as we know, 117 hertz is its resonant frequency. What do we know about Mercury? I'll just a little tidbit that Mercury, 117 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then we got 144,000 casing stones. That's what we hear. Everyone knows this number. Jehovah's love it. Right? These people are getting saved. All the stuff we know about this place. So all I did was simple. I just went divided by the King's Chamber. Because he's the king. And what we get? Oh, sorry. No, I didn't. I didn't go one. Forgive me. I did this. Forgive me. I went 1981 divided by the fine structure angle, and we get 1400. Well, I think it's the full stop. The things there. 72, 72, 72 forever.
Mm-hmm.
Are we following here, people? This is an unbelievable thing. This is time.
72 is another one of these harmonic numbers. It's one of the base ones. You'll see it in most religions, 72 names of God, 72 demons in the Goetia.
The Buddhist temple, you go to Angkor Wat or anywhere in India, there's 72 Buddhas, 72 this, 72, 72, 144, 144. There's a temple in India actually got 1444 pillars.
Right. Obviously, 144 is twice 72, everybody.
And this is 72 years. Precession moves 1 degree, right? And that's just the backdrop of the stars that moving at their rate. And and the sun coming up at a different sign.
Vernal equinox. Yeah.
Very slowly. Yeah, obviously 25,920 years. Right, 25,920 is the great year. So what we've discovered, obviously, you can see the Quetzalcoatl's pointing to 1941, and Egypt. So far, we can see what are the odds of this? 1981 divided by the fine structure, and we get minutes in a day, years in a precession. We get Chronos. Chronos is all the time numbers. How is this possible?
How is it possible? How is it possible?
then I'm going, okay, I'm losing my mind, right? Secretly in my car going, what the? And then I'm thinking, okay, this is all navigation. We got a compass. What's on the compass? North, south, east, west, right? What's on there? 864,000 seconds on the compass. And this is how we get around. This is how we tune our guitars. This is how we do everything. We used to tune them like this, but we changed it to 440. We all know that. So when it's going around, we got the compass. So we got latitudes. Latitudes are 111 kilometers apart. All right? We're going to show that the ancients came up with all this. This is all, they discovered this stuff. And we're still using exactly the same thing. So we figure out if you could do a 6-month study on the number 37 and just how profound it is. Mathematicians, everyone, they just freaking out about this one as well. But 37 is a lot to do with, again, Stephanie McPeak-Peterson's work, the best. But she goes right through all the music scale, the Pythagorean comma, because it doesn't quite, finish itself nicely. It's called the Pythagorean comma. She shows you that even interest, not interest, how everything goes up in value every year with inflation. It's just driven by the Pythagorean comma. So the elites are using literally natural law for everything. We got to stop screaming because this is all that's going on. It's natural law. Times 3 is 111, right? That's the latitude. So, okay, all I did, because we're talking about 1981 in Egypt now. We figured out that Egypt, 1981 divided by the fine structure is, right, what we had, 144, 72, and all that. So what I did next is 37 times 81, all right, because where are the Great Pyramids located? Well, the Great Pyramids are on 29 degrees, 97 minutes. That's the answer there. 37 times 81, 1981. We got the location of the Great Pyramid. I'm sure there's a few undies getting filled out there, people that are right into this stuff, because some of us have been doing it for years, Are you there, Ryan?
I am here, mate. I mean, I'm not. You've blown my brains out, so.
Well, just like yes, sometimes I just think you dropped out because I'm in Congo. So, so basically, we've covered a fair bit of ground here. I mean, we've just discovered that we don't have to argue about the age of Aquarius anymore. I'm pretty sure these guys are telling us, and in structures that we can't even fathom. So, and how deliberate is these choices that they made to double stamp it, triple stamp it, quadruple stamp it. That yes, you're right. You've given us all the synodics at 1941, then the triple conjunctions on 1941. They're really trying to give you a couple of times, like, no, we're really trying to show you this. Righto. What was the other ones, Ryan? So we're going to go 2041. Do a little edit here if you need to, but
No, I'm going to leave it in because I need you to look stupid somehow.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Okay, flower of life. The flower of life, we see it in Egypt and stuff, up high. We think, oh, look, the flower of life's up there. But when we count up, I won't draw it today, but there's 37 nodes, right? And that's where they sort of, the flower petals and that crossover, you got nodes. 37. Then we got, I think it's 50, is it 90 petals? 90 petals of the petals. Then we got 50 for the little triangle, like the negative spaces, right? They're like little triangles that kind of go between the petals. You add it up, and it's 144. So we understand, we're getting it from just even geometry.
I do think that is the fundamental of it all. It's between the Pythagorean triangle, the Kepler triangle, an equilateral triangle, and which all derives basically from two circles intersecting from that Vesica Piscis, Piscis, which then you can transform into flower of life. I do believe geometry is the fundamental.
It's the fundamental, yeah.
It's
it connects every single thing. And then I showed Ryan this one. I showed him, for example, if we the there'll be no argument for the rest of time about is there an intelligent design. That argument is done today. Because for thousands of reasons, we're putting all here. We're going to give them all to you. Maybe the next episode too. This is Venus. We know that Venus does this in the sky. It does this shape. It's you can see it's a 5-petaled thing. It does retrograde. You can see it's this beautiful pattern. Anyway.
Yeah, it makes that pattern over 8 years.
Over 8 years. That's right. Over 8 years. And so over here, it's usually between June 6, June 8, but it doesn't matter. So we'll just go June 7 because that's in the middle, and January 14. Now it's over 8 years, so it could be, whatever, 1998 and 92, different year.
Arbitrary.
Yeah. So we just got rid of the years because it happens on the same days every year. It doesn't change. It basically hangs around this sort of 6 to 8 June, and it hangs around there. But if it's on the 7th, it will absolutely be on the 14th of Jan, the next one. That's 144 days. Right? When we come down this one, what's down here? I checked this date. I could give them all to you, but you can if you want one day. Ask me, I'll give them to you. Yeah. And it's 288 days. What? Then we got 216 days. Oh, God.
Oh, my favourite.
And we keep doing it. Now,
yeah. It's actually similar when you add the angles together as well. So if you just took that pentagram and you did the calculations for the interior angles, or indeed the angles around a 360-degree compass, it will make those similar. It will make those similar numbers. And obviously, the actual line measurements within that pentagram are also golden ratio. So you can see why it's nothing to do with devil worship at all, but it is to do with Saturn, who is the devil.
Yeah. This is the angle inside the pentagon, right? 144.
Yeah.
So, is it not crazy that Venus is doing this and it's got 144 days between the thing? I mean, serious, we've got a very loving creator. And I was I'm not religious. I'm just an average surfy dude from Australia.
Yeah. Well, if it says that, you've got to listen to it.
Yeah, I think so. Yep. We could just quickly do that one. But anyway, the 819, they broke it up into 9, 7, and 13, and you times all them together, and you actually get 819, right? But again, at that time, like 7, weeks, days in a week. I'm just trying to throw a few things at you, but anyway, we'll go to the next thing. What have I got here? What were the other things, Ryan? Oh, that's right. Here we go. Right, now. Here we go. I hope that the rabbi are watching. Really. I hope rabbi. I hope.
Shalom.
Jesuits. Everyone. Hey, guys. You know what I mean? If you guys really know this stuff, you cheeky buggers. Why didn't you tell it? So we got 7 BC triple conjunction. And this is a big deal. We know in Quetzalcoatl, but the Christians, you can find a million videos online. What's the Bethlehem star? What's the Bethlehem star? Right, what is it? And as they say it's this, and other people say, no, it isn't. It's this other one. 3 BC, we got a conjunction of Jupiter, and Regulus in Leo.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the little king and all that stuff. People that out there know that stuff. But and also because the scriptures say that the Virgin or Virgo was clothed with the sun, with the moon. This is real messy, I know. A moon at her feet, and that's kind of this prophecy. Anyway, it happened in 3 BC. Regulus conjunct with Jupiter, and the sun was. You can actually look on Stellarium, and it comes up. And you see heaps of videos, Christians and that doing it, and saying, look, it's this one and all that. So from Robert Edward Grant, we got this. This is the Giza Plateau, pyramid. And I think Petrie did these measurements, 528 and 432. And So 528 over 432 equals 1.2222, right? And so does 11 over 9 equals 1.2222, right? So from that synodic stuff I showed you before, we work out, you can see how they've left out a day basically, but the calendar was a 364 day, right? And it's not 360. Sorry, all the other channels out there going on about other stuff, but this is actually what the ancients were using. And I'm going to keep saying it, but I'm going to listen to them. I'm pretty sure they were the ones we should listen to. So 9/11, we know about 9/11's big deal in the modern era, but it goes right back to here. They were aware of this going to happen, and they put it in stone. They put it in the Giza plateau size, everything. I'll just quickly get the half of that is 264, and the half of down here is 216. So we come across to the middle here, and it's the difference between the two obviously is 48. And this is really important. This is 48. What is it? Zodiacs and decans.
Decans.
Yeah, and then it's also musical scale. You know, triple 16. Is 40. Double 16 is 48. Is it? No, it isn't. Anyway, I
can't say I've come across 48.
Yeah, 12.
So I can't help you.
24, 36, 48. Right, and then you can do it with 16 because Stephanie's work goes into 16 notes instead of 12. It's fascinating. I think she's onto it too. She found some stuff in really ancient Asia where they've got these like they're all tuned, they're all different sizes, like a xylophone type of thing. And there was 16, not 12. It looked like they had a 16-note musical scale.
Yeah, there are lots of different scales. Yeah.
Yeah, but the reason is too that she in her stuff 32 harmonic, or is it the But anyway, after that it's all semitones. Right, these are the last whole tones. This is also the 2 rays of the Christian Christogram. Christogram. It's 32 rays coming off of it. So I did 25,920 divided by 32, and we get 810. Again, this is at Giza, so it's 81. Now in 1981 as well, the Australian government built the Parliament House building. It's the most expensive in the world at the time, ever built.
Wow.
And the flagpole that's on top, it's huge, and it's 81 meters. Now they started to break ground in 1981, the year of the triple conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. Righto, and they're showing us. They're showing it. What else happened in 81 was Charles and Diana got married, and not only did they get married in the year of 1981, they got married on the 25th of July, which is the last conjunction. It's number 3 of the conjunctions. Here's the last one of 1981. They got married on that day. Pretty cool. I wonder what they know.
Very cool.
So what I was saying about the 7 BC triple of Saturn and Jupiter, and the 3 BC of Regulus, Reg, and Jupiter, the sun clothed in the sun, moon at the feet. These two here are just the biggest argument in religious history. Right? He was born here, Messiah. Even Muhammad is born on a conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. So the arguments about these two. Now, all I did, I'm wondering if I should actually put this in, but anyway, you'll all see another day. The days between this, so in 7 BC, the last conjunction of 7 BC was the 5th of December, 7 BC. So I just started there. And then I went to it was 9/11, 3 BC, that Regulus and Jupiter conjunct. Anyone else doing flip outs right now? Think about it. Think about it. So we got these two. How many days between these two?
144?
No, 13, 6, 7.
Okay.
Might not seem like anything. I'm gonna say this again. I'm going to say this, forgive me, Ryan, but it has to be done.
Let's do it.
It has to be done. We've waited 2,000 years. We've waited 2,000 years. Marty, is this character turning up? Is there such a thing? Is it madness? Well, that 1367, that's how many days between the two biggest events, one of the two biggest events in all of history. That's the days between. This is the minutes. How many minutes in that many days? 1981 point, I think it's 440, or it's a 1 there actually. I think it's 1981 anyway, 0.72 or something. Then it's 33 months. Anyway, all the numbers are there. 4, 5, 6 is another one. This is all the same. When you look up this on the internet, it gives you all the seconds, minutes, hours, weeks, months, and we get all these things. Literally 1981, 144 minutes. This is between 7 BC and 3 BC. Huge events in the heavens. What are the odds of any of this happening, guys? I can't work out how many zeros.
It's so much bigger than any of us, isn't it? It comes down to that question again. Is it the universe doing it? Is it this ancient religion doing it? Did the ancient religion know about the universe? Or it's just so complex. We're too small to figure it out. However, I am definitely leaning where you are, and that is the universe is kind of magic, and that's what's doing it.
It's magic. It's absolute magic. Yeah, we don't know how they lifted 50-ton blocks and stuff. We got that. It's some sort of magic.
Yeah, there's another one. Well, I would suggest that it's something to do with these harmonic numbers.
Yes, no, that's where we're going next, brother. That's where we go next.
But also, so all the really, this is the serpent knowledge basically. This is how they put it. Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent.
Yeah.
The Uraeus serpent of Egypt. And it is also, and I've not quite figured it out myself, but they're saying that time is this life force serpent coming to materiality. And then somehow that's got something to do with the energy in your body as well. And then it goes into all this Kundalini stuff. Now, all I can suggest is that it must have something to do with that. I've not figured it out yet.
Yep.
I've had bits of Kundalini myself, and I've certainly had some mystical experiences. But there's definitely it's something between music, time, and the Kundalini energy stuff, the chi.
Yeah. The unification of the opposites.
Yeah.
That is
peace.
kind of it's
this peace.
Well, I've got to say this, and it has to be said. It has to be said. Don't shoot the messenger, or shoot me. I don't really mind, because
too far away.
It's Look, if we look in the mirror, go and look in the mirror, guys and girls. You're looking at the devil. That's Satan, and you're also looking at Jesus. Both are true at the same time. It was all about this. Always about this. Now, myself, I've been a hothead in my life. I've been famous for being a hothead in my younger life. And my grandpa would always say, keep your head, son. He was Scottish. They came from Glasgow out to Australia in 1960. Keep your head, son. Keep your head, keep your head. I just can't ever do it. But the reason that I say all this is because I can wake up and be an asshole and a devil and a prick and murder if I wanted and whatever. I really could. But I choose to break bread with people and be kind. It's a choice. It really is a choice. The unification of the opposites is the greatest achievement we can ever achieve within ourselves. And that's been my mission my whole life. I didn't want to die the angry boy. But the archetypes of Saturn and Jupiter, we got constriction, we got expansion. We've got they're totally opposites, these two. And I think this is the staff of Hermes up the middle, Mercury. He's the messenger, right? And even you'll see artwork of the squirrel, I think, coming up and down the tree. There's heaps of like animals and things going on in it, but it's even up the Kundalini. It's the messenger. It's up and down.
Yeah. If you watch a serpent climb a tree, you'll understand it a little bit better. I think that has something to do with as well how you force the cerebral spinal fluid up the spine. And I will say, if we're talking about peace, obviously that's the staff of peace. A herald, that's the herald staff. A herald is a guy that talks to another herald who's on the opposite team. They would often say how two heralds would meet and they'd eat and drink while they watched a battle because they were friends. You've got these two serpents coming together in peace up an olive branch, and obviously the olive branch is a sign of peace.
Yeah.
Even
It's
more so, those two serpents are having sex with each other. That's the analogy.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's where when they unify, yeah, that's when you create the sun. When it gets to the point, obviously. So I've
Yeah.
never done any Kundalini stuff. I've tried. We all, yeah, I think hundreds of thousands of people out there are like, when does it happen and how do we do it? But we're out of time because we got this 440 with our music and stuff as well. But it's not just out of tune. It's just more out of time. That's what we're thinking. We're just thinking it's hertz, so like some sort of note, but it's just simply out of time because there's 432. That's half of the day. So we're just out of time because if we add that up, it's double that is 880, and that's just not how many minutes there are in a day, etc. We're out of time. We're not out of tune. That's
Well, hertz is a measure in time, is it not? It's frequency over how many beats per second, essentially.
That's it. And we know, yeah, when and everything like you've seen the Taurus for donut, and in the center, Ken Wheeler is a great. What's his channel name? It's like that Greek bloody word. Yeah, Ken Wheeler's channel.
Yeah.
People know it now, but he does all the
Yeah, you'll
magnetism.
find Ken Wheeler easy enough. Yeah.
And I love that it's rest. Everything comes from the rest, and when you're on a guitar string and you put your finger down here, like that's rest. The rest of it's all going, brrr, you know what I mean? Brrr, but rest. So, and you've created a new note, a new sound, a new whatever. But here, that's the rest point. That everything's created from the rest. We could go into so much stuff. I really love the how this is like just basically you start there. That's God, and if you've got a line, this is the 2D. You've obviously automatically you've got a center. You can just ancients figured out all this out. The next one was obviously.
Yeah, I mean, this what you're going over is, as I figured out, is the beginnings of symbolism and reading and measure and all these things. And you get, as soon as you start creating things, they have meaning to them.
Absolutely. And that's what we get, all these numbers. You can't write a myth with numbers. I've been saying that to Ryan. You've got to come up with characters. You've got to have Zeus and all these, you know what I mean? But that's how they're trying to communicate this stuff well into the future for us to know and remember through limitless myths. There's just so many. Even when you look at names like Darius, who's like he's a Roman. Anyway, Darius. What you'll notice is that all their names in gematria, and he's 432.
Yeah.
All their names always have something to do with time. Always. I've looked at every name. I've got thousands of names saved in my phone for 3 years, and they all do.
I've been doing quite a lot of that this week. Like Jehovah's 26, and Thoth is a processional month, and there's so many. Like IHS, that's a processional month. INRI, that's a processional year. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. The Jesuits do, as you keep saying, the Jesuits do particularly know a lot of this stuff. But the trick is, we say that it's a secret, and it is a secret, but they're also giving it to us if you do the work to find it. Now, the only thing I can't quite understand is, why is it such a secret? You're often told to keep your lips shut about it. And I don't understand that, obviously, because I'm doing podcasts with the likes of you about it.
Yeah.
What do you think about the secrecy aspect of it?
Well,
is it to make you think?
I think so. I think it's about cultivation. What is Saturn? Saturn is to do with corn, right? His color is black. All right, and the reason because it's soil, right? He's got the scythe, with the hook on it, and it's about the wheat. You know what I mean? So because we
Hmm.
have to cultivate so we can eat and survive, the
Yeah.
ancients just logically had philosophy. Oh, well, that means we probably have to cultivate the man because cultivation is necessary for life, just physical life. And then, so of course, they just think, oh, well, cultivation must be also for spiritual life because that's just the system.
I mean, I'm
Very,
of the feeling, however, that
yeah.
it is up to the likes of you and I to get this out, and just by the sheer study of it is a cultivation.
Yes, it is. Yes, absolutely is. Yeah, it's not like some sort of moment that we're, some sort of big, the Holy Spirit will fill your body and all sorts of crazy things will happen. It will change you. All this information changes everything because we're killing each other over this stuff. But yeah, like you say, the
Hmm.
Jesuits, they know all this stuff. Um, I discovered you guys can go on my channel, but the 144, so the Nazca lines, they're on 14 degrees, 40 minutes. And there's so many Nazca lines there. That's all on 441, 44 and 441. Because it's the spider. You got all these, but they're
Yeah.
all on this. They're all here.
I will reveal something here I've discovered about the Nazca lines. Just because, why not?
Yeah.
You've revealed so much. They're all drawn to my pattern that I discovered.
Oh, you're
All of
joking.
them.
Is
Yeah,
that heptagram?
that heptagram pattern. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, it's
fantastic.
actually a 14-sided shape, which would be like a
Okay.
quadridecagram or something like that. Who knows? But
Yeah.
yeah, they're all drawn to that, which is basically a series of 3, 4, 5 triangles and gold. It's not even golden ratio; it's golden trisection. It's one beyond even golden ratio.
Yeah.
This is all to come out in the book. Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
would you like to add this to a chapter in my book?
Oh,
I
that'd
think
be
I
amazing.
think it would it. Oh, great! Yeah, I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you
Absolutely.
off live, but yeah, let's we'll talk about this later.
Right up. Now, I want to answer your question there about why do you think they keep it secret? Well, because a bunch of us Aussies and stuff here have been chatting for the last, when I started my channel, people were like, where's, the Dane, come on our channel and have a chat. But we've been talking about Australia a lot because Australia seems to have, it's brand new. We know we just got here yesterday. It's 5
Hmm.
minutes ago. And they've done all these things like the Melbourne Shrine, and it's on 144 degrees south. Righto. They love it. But so, yeah. Is it a secret? No, that's not a secret. The whole world's been initiated. Every day you wake up, get out of bed, go to work, you've been initiated every day. You're watching the TV, listen to the radio, you've been initiated there too. Every word, it's all deliberate. So they put it on this, and you can go on my channel, look, check it out. There's Montague Island, Parliament House up in Canberra. Down the bottom here is where, in Melbourne, is where the shrine is. It's on 144. You go up to Montague Island, and what was it? Anyway, but then you go from there to the Parliament House, 144 kilometres, perfect to the exact apex of the pyramid on top of Parliament House and from Montague Island Lighthouse, exactly 144 kilometres. All right, cool. But what's more significant than this? Along this line is a gigantic 720 metre tall pyramid mountain. It's a mountain, looks like a mountain, but its slope angles on both sides are absolutely stunning. Everyone looks at it and goes, geez, that's a funny looking mountain, that one, isn't it? It's called Sugarloaf. They're all over the world. Rockefeller loves drinking from Sugarloaf in Florida. The Sugarloaf is, when you look into Sugarloaves, there's a whole study for you there. But anyway, Sugarloaf in Moruya, Moruya. So Mount Meru and Ya,
Hmm.
the mountain of God. That's what
Hmm.
Moruya means. It actually means resting place of the black swan. Or the black swan, the Vedas, a white swan is inside of time. A black swan is outside of time.
Hmm.
And it's resting place of the black swan. Moruya. And that's where this gigantic pyramid mountain is that I've climbed up, and you can have a look at my channel and all that. I'm obsessed with this. It talks to me. It won't leave me alone. It wants me to discover something. And we have discovered something. All right. I'll give it to you. Let's get it all out, Ryan. I won't save nothing for my channel and all that crap. Okay, in Crimea, there is something called a Royal Kurgan. When you look it up, make sure you're wearing a nappy, because when you look this up, they reckon it's pre-flood. Even scholars, they say, yeah, it looks pre-flood to us. It looked like a mountain. It just looked like a hill. Didn't look like anything. They started digging. It wasn't a hill. So underneath it, when you find the Royal Kurgan, go and have a look. Ryan might even edit a photo in there or something. But when we go from Crimea, sorry, I left that there, Crimea, from the Royal Kurgan, right? So it's in Crimea, right? Maria, across the whole planet, right? Over here, Maria. Oh, by the way, it's on 36 degrees east.
Oh, lovely.
Who is it? Where's Maria's Pyramid Mountain? Where's he? He's on 36 degrees south. But so what? So what, Dane? That's just a mountain. There's nothing under it, Dane. You're a tripper. Oh, probably. But Crimea, we found him. He's unbelievable. You've got to go and have a look at it. Domed roof, no concrete. No one knows how they did it. Impossible. Another one of those. So we measure from Crimea from the Royal Kurgan to Maria's Mountain that no one's put a shovel in yet. It's 144. Right, 144, whatever. It's anyway, you look it up for yourself. 144, because I put it on my channel 6 months ago. Maybe there's a Royal Kurgan under it. I was just, mucking around. Well, they're both on 36 degrees. It's 144, right? All from there to there. The Australian government or parliament or whatever you want to call them, they seem to give a shit about it, because here's the mountain, here's the island, here's Canberra Parliament House. They drew a line straight and made sure it was 104 kilometres. Do they care about this mountain in Moruya, New South Wales, Australia? I think somebody does. I think some surveyors and stuff. There's a cairn on top of that, and I found the surveyor's map, 1895, and he says a few little things. He's got the map. He's got all these, measurements and degrees off to this mountain range and stuff. But he's also got, it's covered in ash, mountain ash. The entire mountain is just mountain ash. All the way up to it, when you go out there, there's eucalypt and every different type of tree in the universe. You get up to here, just mountain ash. Stephanie McPeak-Peterson said maybe it used to be an ancient giant ash. Ideas, maybe. So we find them everywhere. There's 144, right? Nazca. There's a whole bunch more as well. I'm forgetting right now, but like you say, this pentagram's got the 144 in it. Also, the 10-sided, right? I won't draw it, but 10 sides. It's the same as the 50-cent coin in Australia. We got a 50-cent coin that's whatever. I'm shocking. It's all in that bloody thing. Sorry, it's 140.
2 pentagrams will make it.
Yeah, forgive me. But anyway, it's 144 degrees in the 10-sided one. Australia is said to be the solar plexus chakra of the continents. That's what it says, and that's got 10 petals. And Australia is one of the only places I looked up that with the 10-sided coin, right? And with 144 degrees inside of it. And so that kind of was curious too. Like, okay, maybe that was pretty deliberate that they put this 10-sided coin with 144. Australia is the solar plexus, 10 petals. So we're going over a fair bit of stuff, but it's the most ancient stuff, isn't it? Sexagesimal system is as old as it gets, Oh, that's right. Here we go. Right, I've remembered another one. Minoan. Is that E-O-N? Minoan? The Minoan. A-N?
That's all right. They'll let you off, mate. You can remember so many numbers. I don't think they're going to dish you for spelling badly.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I'm dyslexic as well, and that whatever that means. But, so the Minoans, we find out, and I've sent it to Ryan. He might whack it up on the screen. But the Minoans were counting Saturn and Jupiter, because that's all the ancients have ever done. Even the Aboriginals were doing this stuff. Saturn and Jupiter is everything. So 481 is, it's only been this week I found this one, so I'm not all the way across it, but that's a count that they used, that they found this number between Saturn and Jupiter cycles. Right? we know that the height of the Great Pyramid is 481. What I'm saying is quite clearly, just logically, before any structures were ever built, all this stuff was known. 481s, 144, everything that we know, every number, sacred number. In India, as I said, we've got all these temples with that many pillars, or, and 72 Buddhas and blah, blah. They knew all this stuff. And then, I don't know, wonder how they lifted those really, really heavy blocks. But like Ryan was saying, I think it's a combination of the 528, 432, and sort of maybe smashing, frequencies together and just levitate. We don't know, but I'm thinking that all these numbers we can use. Like basically,
yeah.
We go and find, let's go measure inside of a sarcophagus, the internal, the internals and the external. Let's measure the whole thing, because
Do you know about Randall Carlson's friend's combustion engine?
Yes, Malcolm Bendel and all them. Yep.
Malcolm Bendel. That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean that uses all these numbers. He uses the pyramid angle in there. It's amazing stuff. I wish I knew more about it, but it's all kind of vortexes within, the way that the liquids and the gases move through, and it's creating special vortexes. It looks like, very similar to the kind of technology that we're thinking the pyramid might have been, or who knows? Who knows? Maybe it's just that's how the universe works. I mean, almost certainly that's what we're suggesting, isn't it?
Well, the golden age, how big
Of
of a
Saturn.
deal? Yeah, of Saturn. Yeah. How big of a deal is the golden age? You know what I mean? How big of a deal is it to us, to all of man, for all of time? How is this a real thing? Should we give a shit? Should we ignore the hippies? Like, is it real? Well, you don't build Quetzalcoatl in Egypt to show us about this if it doesn't really mean much. Clearly, we did stuff in the past that we don't know how to do anymore. Maybe we only use 5% of our brain now. Maybe we used to use more. Maybe we just had other better abilities. My idea about it was just the sun and all of nature. It's the sun puts out a frequency, and it's a song or a universe or one song.
One song, yeah.
Frequency, and at the moment, sorry for the language, people, but we've kind of gone full retard. Well, we went full retard. The sun's kind of gone a bit full retard. He's got this frequency that's just kind of a bit doughy, just a bit, whatever, I don't know. But back in the day, I think it must have had a different frequency, and everything, plants and everything was affected, of course, by this. And we were affected, and we could do crazy bloody things. And then they knew that would drop off, and we'd get as dumb as dog shit, and we'd kill each other and do all sorts of dumb stuff. But then 1941 ends all that crap, and 1981 brings in this golden age.
I mean, but look what happened since 1941. There has literally been an explosion of technology, dirty technology to some extent. But you've got that date is when it all started again. The computer was invented within a year of that date, for example. So I'm inclined to agree with you. I mean, the Indians are obsessed with these cycles, the yugas and the different ages. I think there'll always be humans that are able to do these amazing things, but the majority of us are asleep. I mean, they're all asleep because they're asleep. It doesn't matter. That's fine. It's not their fault necessarily, but perhaps we're on the cusp of another cultural revolution, another scientific revolution by this secret science.
I want to say something, guys. Like the elites, Saturn, the elites, they're really enjoying the golden age. They're having a great time. We're not. We're suffering still because but they're having a ball. They love the golden age. They're dancing around the golden age. Nobody else knows, but we know because they're all that technology you're talking about, Ryan. So all the stuff I did before with synodic periods and stuff like that, if I wasn't a Jesuit scholar, you know, and probably kissing the ass of one of the big top guns, you know, you don't even get access to all these books and stuff. But you know, it's up there. This little black screen thing, I can look up, you know, even the Yamnaya, you know, Yamnaya. You know what I mean? I can look up the corded ware. I can look up freaking, you know, and within what 1 or 2 seconds, you know, I've got the history of the whole, of all the Minoans or whatever, you know, close to it. Sure, it's not all perfectly accurate, but this conversation's impossible, obviously, without his phone. But discovering that Quetzalcoatl was on 1941 and that every single thing that anyone's ever researched is impossible unless you went to libraries. It just would have been a lot longer, I suppose. It might have been thousands of years longer. Hopefully someone's got that copy of that book so we can look up and check, you know, of course.
Well, I think we are, as we said, we're on the cusp of something. Yourself, myself, Alan Green, Robert Grant. You know, there are a few of us on it now. Obviously, Alan Green and Robert Grant are a bit more out there than we are, but
Yep.
it might be our time soon, and we might be able to get our information out there soon as well.
I
But
think so.
I think so. I mean, my own life might be a reflection of this. I've been studying this stuff for a while. I feel like I've kind of done my part. When I've got this book written, I'm gonna take a break and actually spend that time putting it into practice. Is my next big thing. Like,
Yep.
what can be done with this stuff?
Yes. As you were saying with Malcolm Bendel, I did actually mention it in a video on my channel. It's just a short
Mhm.
video, but I'll actually bring them up. I was talking about the thunderstorm generator. And
Yeah,
for the reasons that you were saying, right, they're using like the 144 and all the measurements for the different components in that machine. And
yeah,
and the reason I got excited about that and whacked it in a video is because it's all recorded in my couple of years now of this type of research. Is that I was even looking at like a piece of copper wire, and instead of making it 144 millimeters long or something, I thought of it like a glass, filling it up with water. And so how long would this have to be, and the diameter of it, like 1 millimeter or 2 millimeters in circumference, and how much, if it was a glass, 144 milliliters or whatever, right, to fill that. So the length would be whatever length it is. I've got it all recorded, the actual length, and so that So I was just thinking along those lines, Ryan, like putting it into practice. Okay, this is like a blueprint. We can use
mm,
these to invent new things where we can do the stuff that we obviously did once, way back. We knew how to do it once upon a time.
I think aiming at that target where, I mean, the anti-gravity, you know, the lifting of big stones, for example.
Yep.
I think that's something that we could aim at
Yes,
because
that's
that's
right.
something that we all feel like they're doing. So
Yeah.
rather than going around in the dark blindly, we could be cutting up little stones, maybe. I mean, surely it would be, if it works on a big one, it'll work on a small one. Cutting up
Yeah.
little stones to these dimensions and weights and starting there
This
and
is it,
singing
man.
at them.
Yeah.
we'll sing.
I saw 20 years ago there was a book and a guy went to Tibet in the 40s or 50s, back. I think it
Oh,
called
I've
it.
heard this one.
Yep,
Yeah,
and they semicircles. The semicircle of 15 blokes there, then 25
with
behind them,
horns.
and they had
Yeah,
horns, drums, everything. And they said that the stone went all the way out the cliff face and then went into its spot. I mean,
yeah,
whether it's true or not, but so we can experiment with these things. I think that all the
yeah.
numbers included in, even the inside of the King's Chamber sarcophagus, Robert Edward Grant's got all those measurements. And screenshot all them too. But anyway, all those things will relate to some kind of useful.
Mm,
It's applied science because clearly they've applied it. It's applicable. We can use it.
yes.
And
Mm.
like ley lines, they're telluric currents, and it's 7.83, hertz in the Schumann. Well, not Schumann. Is it the
Sh-
Schumann? Anyway, but
you know about in the atmosphere, Schumann cavity resonance.
yeah, the Earth frequency. I think it's 7
Yeah,
point.
Schumann.
Schumann, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and those telluric currents, okay, Bruce Cathy, and you can go on Jane 108. We've probably all seen him getting around over the years. Aussie bloke,
Hmm.
of all his geometry and all that stuff. And he goes on about Bruce Cathy I think it's Cathy like that, Bruce Cathy, and he's given us all those ley lines, and he reckons again it was to do with the pentagram all across the Earth, and he says it's 144 minutes of arc per second is the speed of light, or it's nautical miles per grid.
I figured this one out. Yeah.
Per grid arc.
I can't remember, but it is something like that. It's probably nautical miles.
Yeah, it is
I've
nautical
got this
miles, but
somewhere.
grid arc second. Like, I think they're talking about again longitude, latitudes, but that's
Yeah.
that's the speed of light as well. So
isn't it the square root of 144, or is it the square root of 432? One of those two.
yeah. But this whole like
Well,
299, like that's I really I don't know. I think that's a bit of a bum
there are
steer.
so many numbers and so many calculations. We're bound to forget some, but I think the point is that all these things are interrelated. I mean,
Yeah,
totally interrelated. It's the music of the spheres.
yeah. It's even more than that, isn't it? It's more than like just interrelated. It's like inseparable. They cannot be
Yes.
separated. They are the one thing. Like, I can chop my fingers off, and the fingers can be over there. They're still fingers, but they're not on the hand. Like, they're not separate. There is no separation between.
Still your fingers. Yeah.
It's the one same thing. I know we've heard all
Cool.
that before from other YouTubers and thingies and people and books over hundreds of years, but I don't think we've ever seen it like this. That the
No,
synodic
I
pyramid,
don't.
and putting the pyramid on 1941 like that is just insane. And then of course
Yeah.
Egypt, 37, because that's latitude. That's how 111 kilometers, 81. It's the pyramid location. I mean, this is insane. So anyway, I've got Peter Dawkins. He does all the Rosicrucian, Francis Bacon, Edward de Vere. What are the other names for those Shakespeare writers? But there's a whole bunch of them. And the ciphers in there are amazing, as you know, with even Alan Green. But they've found in all the Shakespeare works, they count letters, sentences, everything. They count up everything. But they get this 156. It's everywhere, this thing. And then he always adds one at the top, I think, for the apex. 1.7 now. That's half of pi. Righto, 1.57. It's half pi. Half of pi is June 7. We know that the pentagram thing happens on June 7. We know a whole stuff about that. But half of pi is pretty cool. This, I think, we'll save for another episode, But we basically...
I think an hour and a half of all these numbers, I think, will be blowing people's brains out by now.
Yeah. But it'll get into what we were talking about before, the avatars and the Kalki, Jesus, Mahdi, Mashiach. And is there such a being, an entity that's to come and rule with a rod of iron and whatever? But
so we leave that as a cliffhanger and do this again. Would you like to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds great.
Awesome.
Well, so do you have anything that you'd like to leave everybody with? A thought, or we'll post all the different various people that you've mentioned, especially your Australian friend. Was it Jane something? Said
Jane,
you've been having discussions. So say it again.
Was that Jane 108, the guy from the YouTube channel guy, or?
Oh no, it was somebody else. I can't remember. But basically, what I'm saying is, the people that you've mentioned, we'll make sure we link the YouTube channels in the comments below this video.
Yeah, Stephanie McPeak Peterson. I mean, if you're a serious researcher, and really want to know stuff about stuff, don't go looking for. Just encourage everybody to kind of maybe get off the train of being a victim. It's over. We've had our good run with that one. It's done, guys. Come on, guys.
It is done. Yeah.
Come on, because
put your big boy pants on and let's do some work.
Well, I just want to show you all know this, right? And the 1%. In what year was it? We all went out on the streets. I didn't, but lots did. Went out on the streets and said, "These buggers." Sorry. The 1%. These buggers here. I ruined everything. Now we're looking at these two numbers. What does the math tell you? That's impossible. These guys are blaming these guys. This is the dumbest thing in the universe. Every universe is laughing at this. The 99% are blaming who? What, these guys can't do anything about these guys. Oh, boo-hoo. So I know I've been a bit mean about it, but aren't we all sick of it yet?
We're all
So
sick of it, mate. We really are. The world's finally changing back round again, though, I feel.
every single myth you've ever heard from any culture you're from, it's all about time, because time is orderly. Order, it's orderly, right? And without this, it's the law. It's the first and only law. And everything that we watch in the heavens gave us every number that we use. Time, it did come from above. It is as above, so below.
So below. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Mwah. I mean, brilliant, mate. Hats off. If I had a hat, I would take it off. In fact, I would take off the mortarboard. You know, the you get when you get your degree, that Saturnian black square on the cap of your head, and we take it off because you've completed it. You are no longer under the throes of the old system. Fantastic, mate. I mean, literally, round of applause.
And
Wicked.
and a round of applause for the entire world, for every living being, because we all did this together. Quite literally, when you think about Tesla, somebody was picking up his garbage, somebody was feeding him, someone was looking after his mum when she was little.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, your grandmother was looking after Tesla's great-grandmother, who then invented all the great stuff that we enjoy today. So every human being on Earth has played a role in all the gorgeousness. We are all the gorgeousness. We all did it together. Quirky didn't do this. We all made this happen, like, is in this moment of remembering that we're going to come back to where we were. We can break bread together. We really
What a
can
great
go
sentiment.
back. Yeah.
Gorgeous. That's a brilliant place to leave it. Thank you very much, Dane. I'll leave links, especially to Dane's YouTube channel. He's got a couple of cool videos on there. There's another interview between me and Dane on my channel. Go and watch that. That was a lot of fun. And we'll do this again in a month or so. Sorry,
Sounds
mate.
good, bro. Beautiful.
Great stuff. All right, everybody. Goodbye.